Hello, eavesdroppers. Welcome back to another pop culture tarot reading. I hope you all are feeling like $1,000,000. On today's episode, we are looking at Tasha K and the recent controversy surrounding her comments about foundational Black Americans, in defense of her husband, who is African. I'm not sure which country he comes from. I believe it might be Mali, but I could be wrong. She made some statements that people have been coming to her and expressing that they don't agree with her choice to be with an African man. Now, I don't know how true that is, but this is what she said. So she went on a rant insulting people who identify as FBA and said that they were like the KKK. And, she took it a little too far, an emotional knee-jerk reaction to the actions of a few people. She could have just addressed those few people, but instead she chose to address the whole of the Black American collective. She was under the impression that it was a group, that it was some kind of membership. You could sign up to be a member instead of understanding it's a lineage and a delineation movement that some Black Americans are buying into, seeing themselves as people who need to reestablish themselves as native to this land, as indigenous to the Americas, and not as, what do they call them? What do they say? Off-brand or generic Africans, okay? Now, that conversation is very multi-layered. I'm not going to really get into that, but I would say by definition, I am an FBA. I'm not a part of any membership though, and I do not, feel the need to go around disparaging other people, and most FBA people don't, but I just want to state that for the record. Let's get into this reading and see what's going on with Tasha K. Why does she always find herself engaged in the middle of controversy? I also want to mention that as a result of her rant, she lost upwards of 30,000 subscribers in one day. And so she came out and she apologized. And some of her audience says she should not have apologized. Others feel like they won't accept the apology and they're done with her. She seems to be on a pretty downward trajectory and spiral in her career, owing Cardi B $4 million plus dollars. She's just making weird choices. I don't know what's going on with her, but this may not be a fight she wants to take on, as I believe most of her audience probably is FBA. Well, let's get into this reading. Tasha K, the thing that happens with Tasha K, based on the cards that I have in front of me, is that she is a person who is spiraling because of her finances. She's looking for some kind of financial breathing room. She feels like she's facing temporary hardships and setbacks, and she's just looking for a windfall of money. So I feel like what she tried to do was jump on a bandwagon that she did not quite understand. And I think she got humbled. Is she doing some kind of charity? Is she collecting money? Does she have a GoFundMe or something? Because I see something like that here. And I feel like her success has kind of gone to her head because she's showing me she has a rags to riches story. But the thing is, poverty consciousness will pull you back. Even if you make a lot of money, poverty consciousness will pull you right back into poverty. And that's what's happening here. So she feels like she is mother. She feels like she is her, that girl, divine feminine, source of love and support. She feels like she is the mother of content creation when it comes to the gossip sector. Again, her fame has gone to her head and she's being humbled right now. She may have 5 or 6 good years left, or this could be the last 5 or 6 years, or maybe 9, that she has felt on top of her game. But I feel like she may be nearing a very dangerous place if she doesn't pull it together. I'm seeing something about a black eye. I don't know if she survived some kind of DV. I don't know what that is. But it said, okay, I see what it's saying here. So she's showing up as someone who is green, who is inexperienced, who is ignorant, who's naive, who is someone who has a bad reputation. She's the 8 of Pentacles reversed. Spirit is saying she's green. And so this black eye is indicative of the energy, the feedback she's getting where people are getting her together. You cannot insult a whole group of people just because you don't understand. Okay, you don't understand someone's movement or someone's identity. I would just interject this little piece right here because I heard someone call into her show and say, you just don't understand. There's no difference in being an FBA or a Nigerian, and that is kind of ironic that people have a problem with Black American people self-identifying when you can have an identity from another country, another land, and you can be in America but not really respect the people who paved the way. And this goes back to the civil rights movement and the strides that Black people made even when they didn't even have full rights, how they advocated for immigrants to be able to come over. The story is deep. And I just think it's a bit ignorant. And the cards are saying that she is ignorant and she has a bad reputation. I feel like she might be on her last leg. We might be looking at the last of her reign. Okay, so she learned. They got her together. We have older and wiser, so she knows better now. She knows better than to say this. She could also be getting guidance, correction from people in, I don't know, authority positions or something like that. I don't know the significance of California, but it's showing up here. I believe she lives in Atlanta, but I could be wrong. But California is showing up here. She may end up moving to California at some point if she has not lived there before. And if she does not live there now, there's someone that wants to give her some guidance if she's not going to realize that sometimes she just says the wrong thing. She just makes the wrong choices. And there could be somebody that needs to get her together because she's on the verge of losing everything if she doesn't stop her behavior. Cardi just resued her and got more money, more of a judgment. She didn't get the money, but the judgment. It just strongly feels like she's almost on a mission to self-sabotage. Wow, the next card said self-inflicted wounds. Yes. Okay, so it says self-sabotage, backfiring, the boomerang effect, cutting off her nose to spite her face. This is about ruthlessness and hostility, bullying, melodrama, intimidation, and her revenge is blowing up in her face. This is about being tit for tat and argumentative, winning at all costs, winning the battle but losing the war and shooting herself in the foot. And what's clarifying that is the world stage. So she is embarrassing herself. She's demolishing her own career for the whole world to see. So she has widespread international success, business travel, mass appeal, internet fame and success, brand recognition and global expansion, but she's ruining it. She's sabotaging it. I don't know why she's so hell-bent on destroying her own career, but it's here. Okay, her trine is showing up. So the trine is about harmony and ease and natural flow, the strongest connection between two celestial bodies, innate talents or abilities. I feel like this is telling her to stay in her lane. Something that is extremely beneficial. This is about support, encouragement to explore talents and develop them to get significant achievements. So Spirit is saying you need to stay in your lane. This is above your pay grade. Yeah, the next card is the Ten of Pentacles. And this is how she's gotten her riches, rags to riches, is because she's been in alignment with what she's supposed to be doing with herself. It's very low vibrational to gossip all day. However, that's the nature of her business and she's someone who is good at it. But she's lost a little bit of her credibility. People are not looking at her the same way. So she's going through something here. I mean, this can obviously be generational curses. The Ten of Pentacles is here. But that Ten of Pentacles also talks about your genetic makeup. That's what DNA is all about, your genetic makeup. And I feel like this may be that she needs to realize that her audience is comprised of multiple people, and she has to find a way to play that middle ground and stop alienating certain people who support her. To lose 30,000 subscribers in one day is terrible. And I feel like she needs to pay attention to what that message is trying to teach her. She's feeling very abandoned right now. She's disappointed. She's grieving. She's finding a way and she feels out in the cold. But she did this to herself. She's showing up as somebody that does have regret about some things that she said. She feels stuck. She feels trapped. She feels like no matter which decision I make, I'm going to lose. If I stand on what I truly believe, because she truly believes what she said, I'm going to lose more subscribers. If I play the game they want me to play, I'm going to be stuck and trapped in people's expectations of me. I don't know if she's going to go to jail, but I'm seeing jail here. Okay, now I don't know if this is from her not paying her debt to Cardi. I don't know what this is, but she could end up in jail at some point. I see her taking more losses here, unfortunately. She's very bothered. She's very much in her head. She's overthinking. She's stressed. She doesn't act like it, but she is. Yeah, there's something going on with the family. Okay? Something is going on with either her immediate family, allegedly, or her blood relatives. That could also be her community that she's built. She feels like an antagonist. It's showing that she's argumentative, petty, an agitator, and again, tit for tat. She loves getting under people's skin. This is how she pays her bills. But at some point that catches up to you. It happens to the best of everyone. It caught up to Wendy Williams as well. When you spend your time in low vibrational energy, even though that's your livelihood, still has consequences. Everybody has karma. And there's really nothing high vibrational about gossiping about people all day, usually with malicious intent, it feels sometimes. To just blatantly lie on someone or to speculate people have STDs, that's very low vibrational. And every dog has his day. The Five of Swords is here, and that's a dog-eat-dog world. She's a person that lives in survival mode. She's a person who, because of her upbringing, she feels like she always has to get it before somebody else gets it. She always has to prove herself. She always has to be 10 steps ahead. I do know that Tasha is pretty good at helping other creators out. I do know that about her. I will give her flowers for that. But I strongly feel like as long as she's the one in charge, that makes her feel good. She has a little bit of jealousy here. She has a little bit of insecurity here. And that's just survival mode. Yeah, the Knight of Wands. Everything that I say is coming out confirmed in the next card. She's the Wounded Warrior, the Knight of Wands. It says here that, she's a person who's been through a lot. She is a resilient person. She is a person who's faced a lot of challenges. And she always feels like there's another battle every time she feels like she's one step closer to achieving something. For instance, being a pretty successful content creator on YouTube. But right after that, once she solidified her spot as the gossip queen on YouTube and hit that 1 million subscriber mark, she got sued by Cardi B. She feels like every time she makes it, something undermines her. The last card I have for her is Divide and Conquer, saying she's an agent of chaos. She sows seeds of dissension. She's a troublemaker, an instigator, and an agent provocateur, which is quite accurate. So all of this is karmic. If she would just change the trajectory of her channel, you can tell stories about celebrities. I do it myself, but you don't have to be malicious with it. And that's the thing that keeps tripping her up. Let me get some cards and see what's coming in for her. So when it comes to her future, what future does she have in YouTube and what she's doing? Okay. Her audience is getting older. Obviously, we have some people sipping wine here, which is interesting. She calls her audience the winos, but the overall energy is the fool and the devil. So this is more foolish behavior. These are people cheering you on, people cheering her on until they get bored with her. She's going to go through a flux of losing and gaining subscribers. She's going to go through a flux of celebrating some kind of good moment to feeling very unfulfilled by it because she made a deal with the devil. I do believe she has some kind of TV project or something. Yeah, she's the King of Wands with the devil in the moon. She's getting herself into a contract and she's excited about it, but she didn't read the fine print. Yeah, she did not read the fine print and she's going to regret it because she's jumping in with a lot of passion and there's a tower moment coming right after a big major decision or change or project that she's about to embark upon. Unfortunately, the tower means it's not going to be built on a solid foundation. There's going to be a lot of chickens coming home to roost energy for Tasha K. And this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I see good things happening for her, but I feel like it's all connected to this devil. The devil is the nucleus of this contract. She's going to realize there's something that she's not seeing clearly with the moon, but she's already into it. So it's a win that turns out to not really be a win. And she can even still look like she's winning for the world, but behind closed doors, she's going to be going through multiple tower moments. She's going to want to break free from this contract. Show me more. Yeah, the Hermit card is here in the Six of Swords. She's going to want to move away. She may end up moving over to Africa with her husband. She may end up relocating, going into isolation. The Hermit card going into the Six of Swords. And then the Wheel of Fortune is here. And that's her karma. And I see the World card here with the Two of Pentacles. I don't know if she is living on both. If she's a, what do you call it, person with dual citizenship, that could be what this is as well. Her husband is showing up here. I do feel like there will be more legal issues for her in the future, but I feel like ultimately she's going to probably end up going into a more reclusive state at some point because something dark is hovering over this contract that she has. It looks like a win right now. And like I said, we may never be privy to these things, but behind closed doors, she's going through a lot. It's going to be a lot of shadow work that needs to be done as a result of this contract that she just signed. Some kind of collaborative effort. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next episode.